welcome to Marketing as a Foreign Language. My name is Kellen Kautzman. Today on the show, Facebook is removing its restrictions on text content in Facebook ad images. What could that possibly mean? YouTube expands AI detection to age-gate more uploads. YouTube desperately trying to provide quality content to all age ranges. Chinese propaganda network on Facebook used AI-generated faces. Oh, that's going to be the next big wave of fun, isn't it? A Verge article about Facebook leak. Some audio about Zuckerberg talking about Trump and the pandemic. And last but not least, the best on-page SEO tools for 2020 for my business owner and marketing people. Hey, did you know that this is a very special day? And the reason, of course, is that the show is about to begin. If you want to join us for the live show, guess when it is? 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. You got it right. You understand. You get it. Today on the show, we've got Facebook removing content restrictions. Removing text content restrictions. This is from Social Media Today. All links to all articles are right there in the description. This is a significant update for Facebook advertisers. According to the reports, Facebook is removing its restrictions on ads, which include more than 20% text in the main image. So Facebook saying, hey, it's okay to add more text. I know, groundbreaking information. As shared by social media expert Matt Navarra, Facebook is contacting advertisers directly to inform them of the update. Quote, we will no longer penalize ads with higher amounts of image text in auctions and delivery. Big news for Facebook advertisers. Facebook is killing its less than 20% text in image rule. So at Facebook, we are constantly improving and refining the best ways to improve the quality of our ads on our platform. One of the ways is revisiting the effectiveness and impact of existing ad quality checks. Advertisers will still need to abide by our ad policies regarding the content of the text. Advertisers will still be encouraged to reduce the amount of text with images, and we have found that images with less than 20% text generally perform better. So obviously they're trying to make the argument that if people are spending more money on Facebook, that that's good for them, obviously, but also their return on investment. So I think a lot of the rules that Facebook comes up with are designed to increase return on investment. I really do think at the end of the day, Facebook is interested in businesses making money off of the platform. So I'm not so cynical to believe that they're just trying to only think about making money, but they also have the business owner in mind. I do believe that's true because obviously, why else would you add these restrictions? Other than, I guess, making your clients or users very upset. SocialMediaToday.com article, YouTube expands AI detection to age-gate more uploads. YouTube has announced an expansion of its automated content detection process, which it currently uses to catch uploads which depict graphic violence, nudity, or hate speech. Now, YouTube will expand its usage of its AI tools to cover more types of rule violations and subsequently classify more uploads that are not appropriate for users under the age of 18. As a father, I find that it is tricky business to attempt to have your kids not see some crazy stuff on the internet. But I will say, I was watching the final episode of season 2 of Cobra Kai on Netflix, which if you're a big Karate Kid fan, you might want to check out. It's super cheesy, but I think it's kind of supposed to be. Anyway, watching the final episode of season 2, my daughter walks in, and it's like a high school brawl scene. Spoiler alert. And anyway, long story short, she was like shocked by it. And so whatever we're doing as parents at this point, we are definitely removing a lot of the violent content that they're able to see on YouTube and on their Kindles. So it's not impossible, but she's only 7 years old. So who knows what the future will bring. I do believe that the internet obviously is a place that can be very, very bad for your kids if you are not safe. As explained by YouTube, back to the article, quote, today our trust and safety team applies age restrictions when, in the course of reviewing content, they encounter a video that isn't appropriate for viewers under 18. Going forward, we will build on our approach of using machine learning to detect content for review by developing and adapting our technology to help us automatically apply age restrictions. This is tricky for YouTube. I do not envy their particular job. From my side, whenever I create an ad, they're very clear about if you're targeting people that are under the age of 18. When I upload a video, it asks, is this content geared for kids? They are really, really trying to address this. As far as I can tell, when a video is age restricted, users will need to be signed in to view it. Obviously, it would not be hard to say that you're 23 by picking the correct birth year. According to YouTube, if they aren't, they see a warning and are redirected to find other content that is age appropriate. Our community guidelines include guidance to uploaders about when content should be age restricted. The expanded enforcement effort will help to keep younger users safe on the platform, which is no doubt a significant concern for the many parents trying to keep their kids entertained during the COVID-19 lockdowns, you think? Indeed, a recent survey, 64% of respondents indicated that they've been watching more YouTube content during the lockdown period. Guilty as charged. While to kids, YouTube stars are now key influencers, arguably more so than traditional TV presenters. That is absolutely true. I don't know if you've been to Walmart recently, but it's Ryan's World, man. I feel like Ryan of Ryan's World is like the Michael Jackson of our era. He's like the Britney Spears on like the Disney show. That dude is rich. You know, how weird would it be to be like 11? Or I have no idea how old this kid is. 9? No clue. Anyway, and your parents are managing your multi-million-dollar fortune. If you have a toy line in Walmart, you're not probably worried too much about the bills. YouTube has been known to lead viewers down concerning rabbit holes at times via its related video recommendations. With this new push, it should mean that fewer of those up next clips end up leading younger viewers astray. And YouTube is expecting to see an increase in content tagged as 18 over. We get it. Ooh, what's this? Automated flagging. All right, let's dive into this. Uploaders will be able to appeal any decision that they believe has been incorrectly applied. So this is YouTube, flagging your video. But YouTube says that it's not anticipating the change to have any major impact on creator revenue, because most of the impacted videos also violate its advertiser-friendly guidelines and are therefore not eligible for ads either way. But here's the meat and potatoes I wanted to get to. YouTube has been developing its systems on this front for some time. Last month, YouTube reported that between April and June this year, it removed 11,401,696 videos for violating its content rules, with the vast majority of them being automatically flagged by its systems. I was on YouTube the other day, and there was a Louder with Crowder episode. I like to watch content from both the conservative and liberal perspective. Call me crazy. And so I was tuning into this, I think it was a Biden town hall, and they had the live feed, and they kept trying to talk over it. This was their strategy. Like, hey, we're going to just talk over this content so that we don't get flagged. And the only way that makes any sense is if they're using machines to scour YouTube to understand whether or not that content is being reproduced. And I don't know, it couldn't have been 2 or 3 minutes into the program when it got shut down. It said Warner Brothers has flagged this for copyright violation. Who knows if they are manually finding that particular channel, because Steven Crowder's channel is pretty popular on the right. They could be for that reason. But it could also be just machine learning finding it. I don't know. But obviously people are desperately trying to skirt copyright law whenever possible, if it works for their benefit. I shouldn't say whenever possible, but they are doing it. But it will also no doubt lead to false positives and mistaken restrictions that could impact YouTube creators looking to monetize their content. Yeah. Well, I talk a lot about information policing. I don't know if that's the right word. It feels like the right word. I know that's a hot button issue nowadays to talk about policing, but it really does feel like these major social media giants are in the business of policing. And the reason I use that word specifically is because they are finding people that they are considering, in quotes, criminal or not following the rules, and they're punishing them for it. I mean, I guess the crazy thing is they're not only the police, they're also the judge. They're the entire criminal justice system all wrapped up into one, which, 10 years ago wasn't that big of a deal. But now your Facebook profile or your Google rankings or your TikTok presence might be how you feed your family. And so it goes from, sad, I have been banned temporarily because of something I said on social media, to I'm going to have trouble paying my rent this month because of the political leanings that I may or may not have that an algorithm detected on my website. Strange times indeed, 2020, am I right? Next article, techcrunch.com. Again, all links to all articles are in the description. Chinese propaganda network on Facebook used AI-generated faces. Oh no. Oh no. AI-generated faces. Here we go. Facebook removed 2 networks of fake accounts spreading government propaganda on the platform Tuesday, one originating in China and one in the Philippines. In its latest report on this kind of coordinated campaign, the company says it took down 155 Facebook accounts, 11 pages, 9 groups, and 7 Instagram accounts connected to the Chinese activity, and 57 accounts, 31 pages, and 20 Instagram accounts in the activity in the Philippines. Both operations broke Facebook's rule against, quote, coordinated inauthentic behavior on behalf of a foreign or government entity. The company released the report Thursday in coordination with Graphica, a social analytics company that specializes in disinformation. Graphica regularly analyzes this kind of activity in coordination with Facebook, and its reports dive into more depth about techniques. So apparently, Graphica found a network of fake accounts and employed faces created through an AI technique known as GANs, Generative Adversarial Networks. Those fake faces are employed to elude detection, but because their visual signature often ends up with subtle quirks and anomalies, GANs can sometimes be easily detected. Wow. So as I've said before, we are if we're not already in the space where we don't know if a profile online has anything to do with the actual truth, which is to say, there are going to be politicians and leaders that can say that wasn't me when it actually was. They can say, nope, that's a deep fake. I didn't say that. It's not real. And there will be a reasonable amount of confusion as to whether or not it actually happened. There will be that. There will also be, images and videos of world leaders saying outrageous things. And so we just need to be cognizant, because I think there's going to be a period of time where a lot of people will buy into it, and then everyone will become skeptical. So in that initial phase of when not everyone's used to it and they see a video and they see someone and they go, well, obviously they're doing it because look at them do it. It could just be obviously AI technology or one of these GANs manipulating someone's thoughts about a particular individual. So apparently this form of AI is readily available, back to the article, online, and its use or abuse by covert operations has exploded in the last year, according to the Graphica report. So it identified a dozen GAN-generated images from a Chinese information operation. A year ago, it was a novelty, according to Graphica's Ben Nimmo. He wrote on Twitter, now it feels like every operation we analyze tries this at least once. And obviously, it is only going to get more ubiquitous. So in 2020, the network of fake accounts created 3 U.S. focus groups, one pro-Trump, one pro-Biden-Harris, and one called Quack Quack. Ooh, that made anti-Trump posts. The Biden-Harris group found the most success, attracting 1,400 members. So, what's real? What's not real? It's all up in the air in 2020. Best year ever, by the way. Anyone agree with me? Leave a comment. Moving on to a Verge article here. We've got, in 2020, Facebook would be roiled by a global pandemic, internal protests over racial injustice, deeply polarizing election and the ongoing threat of multiple state and federal investigations into antitrust and privacy. But on the morning of July 16th, Mark Zuckerberg found his workforce asking for something else. They're missing office snacks. What? What is happening in this article? What? This article, I think, is very strange. And I'm not interested in reading it. We're going to skip it. Best on-page SEO tools in 2020 from techradar.com. Getting into how to make money using the internet. The best on-page SEO tools will provide insights on how to improve your website and web pages in an easy to understand and manageable manner. Okay. So Google Search Console. So ladies and gentlemen, if you are not familiar, Google Search Console is a free product. I shouldn't say product. It's just like Google Analytics, but it gives you incredibly important information. It tells you if you have errors on the website that can be fixed. It tells you if there's a manual penalty against your site because you did something wrong or someone did something to your site. I don't think people realize that there are folks out there that can send tens of thousands of links to your site. They can link to your site from really spammy websites, and Google has absolutely no way of knowing if you did it or if someone else did it. So back in the day when Google created something called the disavow tool, which allows you to say, hey, I don't have any association with these links over here, I immediately thought, how many people out there are just going to use this shotgun link strategy to just destroy their competition, right? So if you have access to 10,000 websites that are all garbage and you just link like crazy to all the competition and you just drop them down, that's as good as raising your own ranking, is it not? It's just sabotage. Google Search Console is a big deal. If you log into it for your website and you kind of putz around, there's nothing really you can break. You can see the links that are pointing back to your website, great data of the keywords that people are finding your website for. And so you really do want to check it out. So WooRank is number 2 on this list. It's an excellent on-page SEO checker. It offers both a paid and free version. So all you got to do is add a website URL into the search box, and it will begin processing. For the on-page SEO, WooRank looks at issues such as title length, meta description, and headings. So basically, if there's anything you can change about your website, WooRank's going to kind of help you figure out what to do there. Number 3 is Screaming Frog. It provides a range of SEO tools, but one of the standout features is the log file analyzer. This is an important but easily overlooked part of SEO because server logs offer core raw data to work with. Oh me, oh my. A lot of tools work with public APIs showing what Google and others have found on your site, but they won't give you a detailed breakdown as to what you can do with your own website. And if there's something important that wasn't found, you will need to know this. So this article is pretty down and dirty. So I think the best option for you, if you are listening, is to check out the description, go to techradar.com, check out these links, and voila, you will have the tools that you are interested in checking out. From an SEO perspective, we use something called SpyFu. SpyFu is a great website where you punch in the URL and it tells you a lot of information about either a competitor or your own website. If someone is thinking about working with us, we punch their information into SpyFu. And if their rankings are in Nowheresville, like position 100 or beyond, it gives us a good sense of whether or not we're going to be able to get them into top 5, top 10 in any sort of reasonable amount of time. It also tells you whether or not they're spending money on Google ads. It'll give you an example of a Google ad they're running. It's really, really good information. And there is a free version of that as well. So if you want to do us a favor, please do swing by our YouTube channel. Just type in marketing as a foreign language or send it rising and click on that, hit that subscribe button, and skadoosh, you're on your way. So in summary, Facebook is removing its restrictions on text content in Facebook ad images. So if you have an ad image in Facebook, you can have more text. Not big news, but something. YouTube expands AI detection to age gate more uploads. So YouTube continues to attempt to save the innocence of the young by not having them specifically targeted by certain videos, or not recommending certain videos, or simply not allowing users to see certain videos that are not appropriate for them. Chinese propaganda network on Facebook used AI-generated faces. We are moving into a weird time. Please do be cognizant of what you see on the internet and whether or not you think it's true or real. because we are rapidly approaching the point in time where we will not know. And so it requires deeper investigation than simply glossing over information in 2020. And last but not least, if you really want to dive into SEO and understand it at a high level, this is a pretty good article, techradar.com, link in the description. You could also check out my book, Everybody's Doing It, Advertising Redefined, by Kellen Kautzman. That happens to be my name. It's a pretty good SEO primer and advertising primer so that you understand what the heck to do to make money with Google rankings. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for swinging on by today. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the love. Much appreciated. It's very much Wednesday, and I very much have a meeting that I need to prep for. So we'll see you next time tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time if you're joining us for the live show. If you are listening to us on the podcast, we love you. We really do appreciate you downloading. And we'll see you on the next episode. Have a good one.